I'm very fascinated with some NDE stories I've seen.
Yes.
So is there a biblical basis for that? Does God use that as a tool to reveal himself, or is that something else?
Well, the Bible doesn't talk about near-death experiences, but Dr. Gary Habermas, who's the top scholar in the world probably on the resurrection, is also an expert in NDEs. And he says there are at least 300 veridical NDEs. Now, what's a veridical NDE? A veridical NDE is one you can verify, whereby, like, if a kid says, I saw my grandmother, I was dead and I saw my you can't verify that. But when some guy who's on an operating table flatlines and they bring him back and he says, I was over the hospital, my soul was over the hospital, and I saw there was just an accident between a red Chevy and a blue Tahoe at 3rd and Main, and then the doctors verify later that's exactly when there was an accident out there, and this guy was on the table the whole time. In other words, there's remote viewing going on. Does this prove Christianity? No, but it's another reason to disbelieve naturalism, right? That you're not just a brain, you're also a soul. You're not just a body, you're also a soul. You're not just a brain, you're also a mind. When you can verify remote viewing, you know that there's a difference between your body and your soul, and that your soul can actually be conscious separate from your body. So NDEs can only go so far, and a lot of atheists are very wary of them because many of them are veridical, and it shows beyond any reasonable doubt that naturalism's false. There's other reasons to believe naturalism's false, but this is a relatively recent development over the past 50 or so years, and these are in academic journals, these veridical NDEs. All right. So GaryHabermas.com, if you go there, he has a whole section on NDEs.